When franchising arrived in the LCS in 2018, one of the big changes was that every organization was required to field an academy team. Since then, some orgs have made much better use of academy than others. Today, we're going to look at a couple of ways to measure how successful each LCS organization has been with their academy program. The first thing we're going to look at is competitive success within the Academy League. I've ranked teams based on their average finish in Academy playoffs, or in regular season if they didn't qualify for playoffs. When two teams fell out in the same round, I've given them both the same rank, so both teams that lost in the semifinals get a 3, for example. In the 2021 spring split, I've ranked the teams in order of where they finished within Proving Grounds, so Cloud9 gets a 1 since they were the top finishing Academy team. Here's the ranking. I've combined Optic and Immortals as the same organization, and Clutch and Dignitas as well. It won't surprise many people that Cloud9 topped the Academy leaderboard. They've won 3 Academy titles, reached the Proving Grounds finals this spring, and never finished lower than semifinals. Evil Geniuses are second, but bear in mind that they've only been in Academy for 3 splits. They've been in the finals and semifinals and reached the lower bracket semis and Proving Grounds. Team Liquid might be a bit surprising in 6th, since the org has been so successful overall, but they've never been in an Academy final. They finished 10th in summer 2020, and they bombed out of Proving Grounds this spring despite high expectations. On the low end, Clutch and Dignitas have combined for a lot of weak finishes, but it's Optic and Immortals who have really struggled. Optic Academy and Immortals Academy have never finished above 7th. Now I hope you're taking a step back and asking, does winning an Academy actually matter? Well, it does and it doesn't. On the surface level, Academy is supposed to be a place to develop talent, so growth is more important than finishing first. But that being said, winning should be a natural byproduct of improvement, and if a team is doing a good job of identifying players with high potential to develop, then their baseline performance level shouldn't be too low to start with. So winning does matter to some extent, and we can see that if we look at what kinds of rosters tend to win and lose an Academy, and whether or not there's a difference in the number of developmental pieces. When we compare Academy winning rosters to Academy losing rosters, we tend to see slightly more veteranship on the winning teams. For example, we might see Cloud9's successful roster from this spring, which had veterans in Darshan, Surenfire, and King, with 1 true rookie in Copy and a relatively inexperienced player in Isles. Or we might see the summer 2019 champions led by Someday, with journeyman Anda and Stunt, and 2 less experienced players in Saligo and Prismal. Both of these examples combine their veterans with prospects. Copy and Isles look like they could both break into the LCS in the next year or 2. Saligo is an LCS level player now, and Prismal is knocking on the door. Let's compare that against teams at the bottom of the Academy standings. These teams tend to have at least 1 or 2 relatively veteran players like Xpecial on the 10th place Golden Guardians in spring 2018, but the veterans you find are more likely to be players with multiple years of Academy experience, like Tuesday on 2020 spring CLG, or Yusui and Greg on summer 2020 Team Liquid. That doesn't mean you can't find good prospects on teams with bad records. Jenkins has been on 2 10th place teams in summer 2020 and spring 2018, and so far with Team Liquid this split he's showing some good potential. But you're more likely to find good prospects on the winning teams, and that does make sense since their quality as prospects helps to contribute to winning an Academy. LCS organizations that have done more winning in Academy like Cloud9, TSM, and 100 Thieves are more likely to produce new North American talent for the LCS, but it isn't a direct correlation. Talent development is its own thing, so let's take a look at some of the players each organization has promoted into the LCS. I've done my best to identify all of the players that came up through Academy to reach the LCS since the start of franchising in 2018, and to separate them into which organization promoted them. If I've missed any players, feel free to point them out in the comments. The criteria I've used for this list are that a team gets credit for a player if the player's last Academy experience came with that team before they moved into the LCS. It can be an internal promotion or a move to a new team. The player should not have played in a Worlds qualifying league before, which means that players like Fudge, Lost, and King can't be counted as true Academy projects. The player has to have played at least 5 LCS games to filter out emergency substitutions and things like that. Let's start on the low end of things. Evil Geniuses are new to LCS franchising as of 2020, so they haven't had much time to make promotions. Danny came into the LCS straight from Amateur, so you could include him, but it's stretching the rules a bit. It's more fair to leave him out. From there, we can move up to several orgs where I found 2 promotions. Among these names, Vulcan is a clear standout. Spica and Treats are building pretty solid careers so far. Treats obviously has a lot more games played in the LEC already, so his number here is artificially low. Griffin had a strong start playing under the name Wiggly, but tailed off and fell out of the league. The rest of these players are either still in their first LCS year or haven't really panned out. So Clutch and TSM look good on the quality front even if their quantity of promotions is low. TSM could also try to claim Johnson on their list, but he was only in their org as an Academy sub, so it doesn't quite fit the criteria. Next we have Team Liquid with 3 promotions, and 100 Thieves and Optic/Immortals with 4 each. Tactical is the biggest success story for TL, and it's only fair to mention that Tactical won an Academy title with TSM before joining TL Academy in 2020 and promoting into the LCS in his first split. That's another half point in TSM's favor. On the Optic and Immortals front, Insanity is developing into a useful player, and Alorum had his moments. 2 of 100T's players have only had brief LCS stints, and Saligo was recently sent down to Dig Academy, making Fake God the most successful 100 Thieves prospect so far. Finally, we land on the one org that has outdone everyone else by promoting 5 players into the LCS. Cloud9 have promoted Blabber, Diamond, Kumo, Palafox, and Azazel. It's impressive for any organization to promote this many players over a 3-year time span, but Cloud9's list includes a 2-time MVP in Blabber, and Zazel has over 130 LCS games played and was part of the C9 team that 3-0'd the Afrika Freaks and reached the World Semifinals. As another way of looking at all this, here's how the orgs stack up if you total up all of the LCS games played from the players they've developed to the point of promotion. Remember that this gives TL full credit for Tactical, and it doesn't include Treats' games in the LCS. So TSM probably deserves to be higher and TL a bit lower. A year or 2 from now, I expect these lists to look very different. Several organizations have players in Academy threatening to break into the league, and as time goes on, the value of promoting one strong player won't define such a large part of an org's placement on this metric, like it has for Clutch and Dignitas with Vulcan. The future of the LCS depends on the quality of the development work being done in Academy, and some organizations have clearly been investing more time and effort and resources into that level of their organization. In my opinion, this is where the groundwork is being laid for the competitive future of each team in the league.
It's summertime, and the living's easy. Especially, did you get the? That's a lyric from a song, and it's from a while ago. And I know that I'm old now. I wasn't when I started this career, but it's been a decade this year, and so I went from being a young anyway. Just trust me, it's a lyric. What I was getting at is like the living's easy, and so is playing games on an amazing Alienware computer. You can find them by clicking the link in the video description below, which brings you to my dedicated Travis page. If you haven't been there, at least just click it so you can see what it looks like, because it's got my face on it, and maybe you're curious. And then maybe if you do want to get something like a new notebook or desktop or monitor or accessories, you can do so through that link as well. So thanks so much to Alienware for supporting this, and thank you for supporting my sponsors.